right? Also famous other artists include Kevin Little and Skinny Fabulous. Now, the reason why I played that song right now is the person I'm sharing the studio with today is also a St. Vincent and Grenadine native. He's an essayist and multilingualist as well. That means he speaks many languages. Right? That is the quality of guest we have on the show. And he has got a new book out. And he's come all the way from St. Vincent to come and share this book with us today. His name is Richard. His name is Richard A. Byron Cox. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
How was that for an intro?
And that's perfect.
Thank you very much, Richard. How are you today?
I am perfect. It's wonderful to be here. I want to thank you and Mr. Ricketts for having me.
Okay.
It's my first time in Birmingham after about 30 something years. I came here as a university student.
Okay.
A long time ago. But I only spent 1 day, so I don't know Birmingham. I'm back after such a long time. So it's wonderful to be in your studio and to know of your radio station. I've never heard of it before. Okay. And for you to invite me at such short notice, I'm honored to be here. Really honored.
Thank you for sharing this space with us. Now today, you're here to talk about your new book.
Yes.
Which is called, it's right, The Story of Pauline Bramble. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
So, for those that don't know, you, right, give us a little intro into your history.
Okay, right. Well, I am Vincentian. I was born in Barbados, so I am Barbadian Vincentian, but my father came from Grenada. One of my grandfathers came from St. Lucia. So I'm truly a Caribbean man in many ways. Okay. And I went to school in the Caribbean, including at Mona for a short while, at Cave Hill for a short while, and in St. Vincent. Of course, I did my primary and most of my primary and secondary school education. So I'm truly Caribbean. I then went off to university and I became a lawyer. And I have a PhD in international law. I also studied international relations. I'm a trained diplomat. I went to the best diplomatic school in Latin America and the Caribbean. And I'm a linguist. I speak several languages.
How many languages do you speak then?
Well, in total, one would say about 7.
7? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously English is one.
Yes. So I speak English, German, because I live in Germany actually as well. I have a home in Germany. Wow. Spanish, French, Bulgarian, and a bunch of others. So
is it true that German is probably the most difficult language to learn as a second language?
Well, I don't know. The thing about me in Germany, is that I never learned a single word of German. I never went to school or anything. I just went to Germany as a lawyer for the UN, and I worked there, and I just picked it up off the street. I have never gone to school. I have never gone to school. I studied French at school. I studied Spanish at school. I am trained as a teacher and translator and interpreter of Russian, so I know Russian extremely well, right? Wow. But German, I never learned a single word. I took it up off the street.
That's incredible, because I remember when I was at school, and this was many moons ago, people.
Yeah.
And German, it's one of those languages, it's not the most romantic.
No, it is not.
It's not a very romantic
But remember, I live in Germany, yes, so let's not... That was a joke.
I'm assuming wife is in Germany, right?
Oh, okay.
So obviously, yeah, it's a romantic language.
No, I am not. I'm not married.
If wife is listening,
but I have a German daughter, and 2 of my daughters live in Germany. So yeah.
So you're here to talk about your new book.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the book.
Yes. Well, the story of Pauline Bramble is my second major historical novel. Before Pauline Bramble, I wrote a historical novel called When Mama Stays in Vain, which came out to what is called critical acclaim. Right. Now, Pauline Bramble, to put it very simply, if I were to answer who is Pauline Bramble or why Pauline Bramble, well, Pauline Bramble is your, mine, Mr. Ricketts' great-great-grandparents, great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and us. This is who Pauline Bramble is. In other words, it is a story where the protagonist, the main character, is a woman. Her name is Pauline Bramble. But all of our lives, from 1800 to now, is told in her story. Now, as you know, the subtitle of the book is Springs, Blossoms, and Young Turns, Book 1. Right. So it means, therefore, what? This is only book one of
Is it,
4.
okay, it's four.
Right?
Yeah.
So there would be book 2, which is book 1 covers her youth when she's young.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Spring's Blossom. When spring comes out and everything begins to blossom. And then
for those who don't know, who are listening,
yes.
what is their significance about this young lady?
Well, the thing is that I tell her story where she came from,
Yeah.
right? Right up to 1939 when the Second World War begins.
Right.
Okay, as you know, the British banned the transatlantic slave trade in 1807, right? So right up to 1806, they brought people from Africa to be slaves in the Caribbean.
Right.
And from 1807, a lot of people don't know this, until 1834, they were what were called breeding plantations.
Right.
So that they couldn't import slaves anymore, so they started to breed them in the Caribbean.
Okay.
You understand? So this covers the story of our people, the entire Caribbean people, regardless of where you're from in the Caribbean, from 1800 to 1939, when the Second World War began. Now, as you know, for example, in 1865, there was the Moran Bay Rebellion in Jamaica,
Right.
and the price that we paid for this. As you know, most of our heroes, from whether it's Paul Bogle or Sam Sharp or whomever else, right? Nani from Jamaica. This is just Jamaica. We could call the other countries Buster in Guyana, for example.
Okay.
Or we could talk about Joseph Chatier in St. Vincent and Duvalier in St. Vincent. Or we can talk about, I don't know, Toussaint Louverture of Haiti, right? Most of our heroes of that period are people who fought a battle.
Right.
And without that battle, we would not be human beings today. We must understand this thing.
Yeah.
If you read any West Indian book, any history of the West Indies,
Right.
up until 1838, we were considered part of the estate stock. So when a slave master spoke about his estate and his stock, he said, I have 10 pigs, 20 goats, 30 sheep, and 35 slaves.
Yeah.
We were estate stock. We were not human beings.
Right.
You understand? And so what this captures is a genuine history of our people, but in a romantic and literary way. I always challenge people who read my books one simple thing, and I challenge you to do it as well.
Okay.
Name me a page, any page in my book, and I'll read that one page. And if that one page doesn't convince you to find out what happened before that one page,
Yeah.
and what happened after that page, then don't buy my book. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is how profound the literature I write. But it's literature I can quote from any of the people who have reviewed my book, including one very known British writer, a lady.
Yeah.
And because I send my books, before I publish my books,
Yeah.
I send them to people who I don't know. So I know you, for example.
Yeah.
Today, I heard of Mr. Ricketts yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't know Mr. Ricketts. And you don't know me, I don't know Mr. Ricketts, but I'm being interviewed today on your radio station. So what I do is that I send my books through friends of mine. And I say, do you know anybody who would want to read my literature? And they say, oh, I know such and such. I know Mr. Ricketts in Birmingham. So it's sent to Mr. Ricketts. He reads it and comes back and say, oh, fantastic or whatever. And I publish this book in the first 4, 5, 6 pages, probably about 12.
Yeah.
It's just comments from around the world. From around the world of people who read my book.
You're going to read an excerpt for us today?
Before, may I just read one comment? And this is from a German sociologist and blogger.
Yeah.
All right, his name is Andreas Schuler. This is what he writes. With the book, The Story of Pauline Bramble, a new star is rising in the literary sky. The author, Dr. Richard A. Byron Cox, shows with this book that he is writing in the class of Chinua Achebe, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, and James Baldwin.
Wow.
Like them, he gives voice to the wretched of the earth, Frantz Fanon. Those people, Western imperialism has regulated to the hell of exploitation, slavery, and racism. This is also done through the use of Caribbean English in dialogues. In doing so, he's joined the inner lives of the protagonists so emphatically in their imposed confusion, their struggle for survival, and their deeds, both good and bad, that one can slip into them. Often one's eyes get moist. A new literary giant enters the stage. Andreas Schuler, sociologist and blogger, Berlin, Germany.
That's a very glowing report. I mean, I did always pick out the Alison Walker name because that was the one. All the names that he quoted, that's the one that obviously sticks in my mind because she's, if I quote rightly, she was the one who wrote The Color Purple.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, she did.
Right.
So he's put you up in very high esteem.
Well, there is a Caribbean writer from Essex here in England. Her name is Lisa Levy.
Yeah.
And she's very known because when I spoke about, I spoke to Mr. Grant, who connected me to your radio station.
Yeah.
He knew her immediately. Her quote is very short, so I'll just read it for you.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
very short. A story that reaches across generations. Richard A. Byron Cox is a talented writer who paints a vivid mural of Caribbean life. A story that explores the hardship of poverty and the difficult choices faced by women in a divided and segregated society.
Right.
Lisa Levy, Caribbean writer, East Sussex, England.
Wow.
You know, so this book,
Yeah, carry on.
yes, so this book is basically a book which tells of our journey and where we come from. You know, a lot of people, I don't know if you know a calypsonian, his name is Black Stallion from Trinidad and Tobago.
I don't
Right.
know my listeners may.
Right, but he's a profound, he's like the Marley, he's like the brother Bob of
Yeah.
Calypso. And he says this: black man's got to keep on jamming for black man to get a little something, because I don't tell you already, black man don't get nothing easy. This is where, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm not trying to chastise anybody. I'm not trying to accuse anybody. What I'm trying to do are three things. Firstly,
Yeah.
that the peoples of the world know that who we are today, whether it's Bob Marley, whether it's Skinny Fabulous, whether it is Andrew Carew, whether it is Garfield Sobers, whether it is Viv Richards, you name it. We paid a price to be who we are today. And that is why Marley says in one song, them are just tired for see me face, can't keep me out of the race. You understand? This is the price that we pay. And so we must not take it for granted. Why? Because we are standing on some shoulders, people who paid a terrible price that we become human. That's the first. The second lesson is this, that we have got to be convinced in our own selves that we have something to say to world literature, not just Caribbean literature, and not just that our children would hear, but that the world will hear our literature. You understand? You know that the Caribbean has won 2 Nobel Prizes for literature. V.S. Naipaul from Trinidad and Tobago, and Derek Walcott from St. Lucia.
Yes.
So it shows that we have something to give to world literature.
Oh, good, yeah.
You understand? So that's the second thing. We have got to be convinced about that. Because, and we have proven this before, for example, in cricket. You understand? We have proven that we can stand tall. So that's the second reason for this literature book. But the third reason is more important. Is the most important. We have got to become intimate with the world, and the world has got to become intimate with us.
Yeah.
And if we don't speak our part, you understand, all we would ever be doing is listening, and nobody would ever know our story. So when you say the story of Pauline Bramble, it is like you personally, your parents, your mom, your dad, your grandparents are crystallized in you as a human being.
Yeah.
You come from all these streams.
Of course.
So this is the crystallization of a people's history, a people that paid so much, you understand? But it is told in such a way that it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you angry, it makes you everything.
So
You understand?
when did you decide to write this?
Well, all of my life, from since I was a very small child, I somehow knew that there was something else for me to do. I wasn't born just to come here get an education, get married, have 2 children, and die. You understand?
Well,
there was something
yeah.
else. And so at 8 years old, I remember this very, very clearly. My parents took me to, you know, these, I don't know if you know, but in the Caribbean you have what I call these crusades, revival religion thing.
Yeah.
And I went. And I remember leaving. I remember leaving the center of the thing because it was held in a park.
Yeah.
And I went on the grass and lay down. And above me, there was just darkness with all of these beautiful stars. And all of a sudden, I felt extremely small, but yet I felt extremely great. I don't know why. And that was the first moment that I realized there was something else. And it was the first time that I wasn't afraid of darkness. So the first piece of poetry I wrote, I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
It was called Darkness. Can you imagine? A child of 8 years doesn't write a poem about a flower, about sunshine, about a river, but about darkness. And that told me that there was something else in me, you know. And so that is how I began. But I learned from a man named Voltaire. Voltaire is one of France's greatest philosophers. And Voltaire knew that you could make a living by writing. So that is why, and I had to become a lawyer so that at least I can feed myself and my 4 children.
Yeah.
You understand?
Please.
But, but now that that is done, I can then leave, you understand, and do some writing. So to answer your question, writing was always in me, right? This book took 12 years. As I said, it covers 150 years. It covers 5 generations of people. And it took 12 years of research to write this book.
Wow.
I wrote this book because of many reasons, some of which I explained, the 3 reasons I explained earlier.
Yeah.
But I also wrote it because there is something in me. I want to tell you something else.
Yeah.
You know Brother Bob Marley,
Yes.
Robert Nesta Marley. We call him Brother Bob because that's how close he is to us.
Yeah.
And Brother Bob, when he came off the set the first time he recorded, this is what he said. He said, I have something to say and the world will listen.
Yeah.
That's what Brother Bob said. He died in 1981. The world is still listening.
Yes.
That is the power of the Caribbean. That is the power of a philosophy. That is why Marley says this. Misty morning, don't see no sun. I know you out there somewhere having fun. But there's one mystery I just can't express. How could you ever give you more to receive less? The power of philosophy flows through my head, light like a feather, yet heavy as lead. I want you to straighten out my tomorrow. This is what this is about. We've come a long road, a very, very, very long road. We still have a long road to go, you know. But unless it is like the great Marcus Mosiah Garvey once said, if you don't know your roots, you could never know yourself. You understand?
Very true.
So this is what this is about. This is a story that, and I can assure you, as I said, you or Mr. Ricketts here, I challenge you. Name any page, and I'll read just that page. And if it doesn't make you want to read, the book has 485 pages. So you can choose from page 1 to 485.
All right.
Any page.
All right. I'm going to pick page 41.
Page 41. So,
So you just joined us. You're listening to the Denco Experience right here on your #1 station. I'm here in the studio with Richard A. Byron Cox, multilingual essayist, lawyer, and author of his new book.
So I just want to show you. It's page 50.
Just show me the page.
Page 51.
We're going to read an excerpt from the book. The book. Can you read? Refresh the people that people know what the name of the book is called.
Okay. So I would start from the second paragraph because the first paragraph comes from page 40. It says this. Okay. The following morning, he told Stella he didn't have time for breakfast as he had too much work to do. He left and spent the morning on the small jetty at the harbor, which was a very busy place. He walked up and down trying to look as occupied as all the people who were actually doing business there. He chose the jetty as he knew none of the boys nor Stella ever visited that place. Here he could plan his next move without worrying about, about meeting and ultimately being confronted by any of them. The next couple of hours were crucial, he thought. He must strike back before the story reaches the boys and Stella. In that way, it would be told with him as the victor. Nothing else would do. The story must not be told with him as the victim. No. He was the legendary ghost, the sweet man of all sweet men. He must safeguard his reputation. As he walked trying to think what he ought to do, he recalled the story of Eri, who hung himself after meeting his wife in bed with another man. Eri used to be part of their group, and like all of them, he often boasted that his wife could never be unfaithful to him because he would lick she up and whomever the man was that she was with. But then his wife had twins, and their features showed they couldn't even pass as distant cousins of Eri. That evening, while his wife was still in the hospital, Eri went home and hung himself in his kitchen. People said that Eri hanged himself because he saw what had happened to Sod a year earlier. Sod had also found his wife in their bed with another man. He went into the kitchen, got his cutlass, and chopped both of them up. He was hanged for their murders.
Wow.
Now, if that doesn't make you want to know what happened
I'm
before
definitely intrigued.
and what happens after, then don't buy this book.
I'm definitely intrigued.
Don't buy this book.
Yeah.
I asked Mr. Ricketts now to choose his page. Mr. Ricketts, choose your page. Any page.
233.
233.
All right. So if you'd like to see, if you're just listening, my name is Denco. This is the Denco Experience. I'm here with Richard A. Byron Fox, reading his new book. The book is called
So this is the page,
The Story
233.
of Pauline Bramble.
Okay. So it's 233. And again, I would have to start from where the second paragraph is because the first paragraph comes from the previous page.
Okay.
So you mean that he's a bad John and everybody afraid he? She asked. Her tone charged with contempt for Mr. Stedman. Well, you could say that, replied her mother. He is the only person who never lose a Olier's pot in the whole village, and that is because people afraid he. But I show Pappy never lose a pot, and Pappy ain't afraid he. Pappy been lose a pot, but you're right, Pappy ain't afraid he. Pappy been lose a pot? Questioned Pearline indignantly. How come? Nah, Pappy can't lose no pot, she declared assuredly. Yes, your Pappy been lose a whole year pot. But how come? How that happen? You mean somebody thief it? I don't believe that. Not from my Pappy. Yes. You can ask him when he come home, and he could tell you it's true. Okay, you tell me what happened. How come somebody thief Pappy pot? Well, that happened a long time ago, long before you're born. It was old years, and we've been having plenty children, but not all of you. Your pappy and me decide that we will go praise house to welcome the new year. But we could set up the pot to cook before we leave. So we prepare everything, put the pot on the fire, and when it was boiling, we left for the praise house and left Dusty to watch the pot and take it off the fire when it done. I don't know how old Dusty was, but he was our first child and almost tall like your pappy. And so we think that he old enough to watch the pot, 'cause he been done learn to cook and all them thing. When we reached back home, there was no pot on the fire, and Dusty stand up in the yard bawling. Pappy get vexed and start to shout, Dusty, where the pot? Dusty, where the pot? I don't know, Pappy, I don't know, was all Dusty could say. Your pappy get in a rage and rush in the kitchen and rush back out with his cutlass. It was a good thing Dusty run because Pappy would have sure plan he off bad. Pappy been give him 3 plan in his head about a month before for something he been do. I think Dusty remember that. And that is why he run. Since that night, I never see Dusty again. My first born boy picnic. Since that day, I never see Dusty again. The sorrow and the pain was evident in Bethel's voice. Pauline waited for the cloud of sadness to pass, and then she asked, so Pappy find out who thief the pot? We know, is he stead man, old thief like he? I don't mind the pot, that is just food. But he make me lose my son, my firstborn child. And nobody know we dusty there. For plenty years now, I ain't hear a thing about my son, my firstborn child.
Yeah.
If that does
I'm
make you want
definitely
to
intrigued.
find out what happened before and what happened after, then don't buy this book.
Richard, where can people get the book then?
Right. You can just put the book into Google search.
Right.
All right. The story of Pauline Bramble.
So I'm assuming it's going to, you can
Right,
get it.
and you can get it on many platforms. Barnes and Nobles, Amazon UK. You can get it on many platforms. Right. It's not in the shops directly, physically in London because I have no such arrangements yet.
Yes, yeah. Are you on social media?
Yes, I'm on social media.
So how can people reach you on Facebook and?
Yes,
Instagram
you just pump my name in, Richard Byron Cox, and that's it.
And that's Facebook?
Yes. Only Facebook for now. We are presently working on creating
The Twitter.
The Twitter and the others, and we are actually developing a comprehensive website, which should be done by the end of this month. Okay. So that is what is happening.
Fantastic. Richard, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Now, I was tremendously honored. I am tremendously honored to have been here. I want to thank you and Mr. Ricketts and your station for hosting me. It was very kind of you. I do hope that some of the time when I'm back in Birmingham, I can come back.
I was just about to say that we have an open door policy here. So if you're back in Birmingham, right, feel free to pop in and say howdy, and we'll welcome you to open arms.
Okay, thank you so very much.
So what you're going to do to round off the interview, because we did play James P at the start of the show, and I did see you shake a foot, you know.
Yes, I love James P. I truly love James P.
As much as you tried to deny it, I just see you shaking the one left foot. You know what I mean? So we're going to play right now. We're going to play another artist native to your native country, and he goes by the name of Prodigy. So you can play his new song, which is called 30 Million, right here with Denco on the Denco Experience. Whoo-wee.